Mark Carlaw. Not you, him. On the other side of the screen. He is from the West Ham Way. Many of you will recognise him. He has hair slightly like Areola. We have discussed. We've just gone and recorded something about goalkeepers over on his channel. You all right, mate?
Very well. I'm feeling good, mate. I'm liking the. I just need to get this Areola look better. I don't know. I need to sort of work it out. I need to look more like a sort of cartel leader.
You do. You do indeed. What did you say the hair product was?
Oh, just for Mexicans.
Just for Mexicans. There you go. Just for Mexicans. That's
it. Yeah,
That's the stuff. We'll know it's truly caught on when Alvarez starts sporting the same look. Right, we're going to talk about Luis Guilherme. Let me tell you what I know, and I will get your thoughts on it. So, a couple of days ago, I just got distracted, I think, with the Paqueta stuff and then the Gomez stuff. Basically, towards the end of last transfer window, we'd heard that there was Saudi interest, which never manifested itself in terms of Luis Guilherme. But right near the end of the transfer window, we had 2 offers from Flamengo, the Brazilian club, for Luis Guilherme. Now, whichever way you cut and slice it, one of them was a straight transfer. The other one was with a €5 million payment up front for loan, but then an obligation to buy. Whichever way you cut and slice it, it would have resulted in £20 million, right, for him, which would have been pretty much our money back on a player that's not worked out. Now, what happened was I think he might have been a substitute appearance against Chelsea, quite possibly. He came on and he looked okay. Not brilliant. He looked okay for however long he was on the pitch for, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And I think off the back of that, Graham Potter has apparently said, well, hold on a second, let's have a closer look at him, which I think is a wise thing to do, actually, because so I think West Ham are in a little bit of a rock and a hard place here, because I've no doubt about it that one of the reasons that Tim Stuyton got the elbow was because of Guilherme. I think there was I think, Fulkrug played a big part as well, and I think him falling out with people probably played his part. But West Ham are in a rock and a hard place. Either you have this asset who's worth £20 million at a point where the club are saying, we've got to sell players to buy. So do you cut your losses and get your money back and say this is a failed one? In which case, if you can get your money back, I think that's brilliant, right? In terms of, bearing in mind he hasn't played, he hasn't increased in value. But if you keep him too long, then he depreciates in value and you lose money. But what you don't want to do is flog on the next Neymar without really giving him a chance and find out he becomes an absolutely brilliant player in 2-3 years' time. What were your thoughts on hearing all that?
I'd like to think that Potter's made more, has seen more of him than just the Chelsea cameo that made him think, oh, there's something there. I'd like to imagine he's seeing him in training every day and thinking, yeah, there's something I can work with here. So that kind of gives me a bit more encouragement that there is something there in Guilherme. From what I've seen of him, Gonzo, he looks all right. Like from what I've seen, he looks capable. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's not, as you say, he's not set the world alight. He hadn't had a chance to. And I do find it odd that we've turned down an opportunity to get our money back on somewhere someone's already done anything. So there's surely got to be something there that Graham Potter, because Graham Potter to me so far seems a really sensible bloke. He seems very clever. I can't imagine him making that decision on the back of a cameo, as I've said, and go, all right, we'll give him another go. Because it's a lot of money, isn't it? £25 million, especially for a club that's so, we're being told that the budget's quite tight and we've got to be really clever this summer. It seems odd that we would then turn down an opportunity to get 25 or 20 million pounds back for a player that's not really done anything. So it's a part of me that's a bit disappointed we didn't take it, because I think, we could use that and that would be useful to add to the budget. But then there's the other part of me now is feeling a little bit like, is he seen something here? Has he got a player that he's going, do you know what, next season this lad's going to be something quite special for this club? That's what I'm hoping is going to be the case. I'm feeling more optimistic maybe now about Guilherme than I was previously, if Potter feels that there's something there. Because I've got a bit of trust in Potter. I'm going to be honest. I feel quite everything he's saying at the moment, because he seems to be quite spot on with what he says about the football club and everything so far. I feel like I can trust him a little bit. And if he's feeling that actually, no, don't sell him yet. I want to work with him for a longer period of time to see what we've got. I'm quite encouraged at the moment with Guilherme from that news. That fills me a bit more confidence that we've got a decent player there. How about yourself? Do you feel that way then about him?
Well, I don't fully trust Potter yet, if I'm honest. I've been impressed. That's what I would say. Remember, yes, I mean, I think somebody said in the build-up show, third game, somebody said, "Oh no, in Potter we trust." Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know why I did a car thing, but yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not here yet. I have been impressed with him though, and and I want to see more. I think you need. I want to see the Graham Potter that was latterly at Brighton before he left, rather than the one at the start. I didn't think it was particularly impressive at Swansea, to be perfectly honest with you. So I don't fully trust him yet, but I really like what I've seen. I've been impressed. I think he's a safe pair of hands, which I didn't think that. I think he's got a little bit more menace to him than I thought he had as well. I think he's probably willing to stand his ground and stuff like that. So I thought he might be lacking that killer instinct. I think you probably need a bit of a killer instinct to survive at West Ham. Otherwise, you get eaten alive because of everything, the way the
Mm.
club's run, really. And it does seem like a little bit of a happy ship now. And I say that I've heard that. I've heard that everybody seems to be quite happy there at the moment, and that's something. If you've got 2 years of people falling out with each other, which is what you've had, and then all of a sudden you've got a coach in there who's getting on with the ownership and is building, well, not even building bridges to the academy, but building pathways from the academy. You think, well, let's let this run. So I'm impressed with what I've seen. But do I fully trust him? I don't know yet. But I think if what you're going to do is you're going to stop a player from leaving for 20 million, particularly at the time when the club are saying we're desperate for funds, we're going to be running close on PSR or whatever the case may be. We're desperate. We're considering that we might flip to Debo just to get our £35 million back. Well, if £35 million is a lot of money, so £20 million. And I think £20 million for someone that's not playing, if you think you can filter that into the first team, is important. We've just had a discussion over on your channel 5 minutes ago about a goalkeeper, and you suggested that you think a good goalkeeper might cost between 25 and 30 million, which I didn't disagree with. Well, that's most of it, but
Yeah.
just selling Guilherme is most of it. So I think that's quite important. What I would like to happen is us to have signed the next greatest thing from Brazil and him to be brilliant. All right, that's what I would like to happen. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on now. What I do think is important, that if you're going to stop that transfer, and I do think Flamengo will come back, but also Flamengo will be well within their rights to come back with a less offer next time. So, well, actually, he's not worth as much. He's done a year and not done anything. So that would be fair enough. I know he scored behind closed doors the other day, but so did I. And you know what I mean? I scored a lovely goal in the garden the other day. It don't matter, right? Do you know what I mean? And
it was a lovely goal, though, to be fair.
It was a beauty.
It was, stunning.
But unfortunately, boys and girls, you didn't see it.
No. I've just said what you told me.
Absolutely.
Well, apparently amazing.
I've heard what Guilherme's told everyone, or whatever the case may be. No, I do think he's got talent. I really like the goal he scored for the under-21s. I still don't know why he's not featured for the under-21s more. But what I would say is, if you're going to do that and you're going to stop him getting a transfer in January, and it's right, okay, he's going to feature more, then can we see him feature more? I think that's my problem, Mark. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, let's do something with the guy then. Exactly that. It seems odd that we've signed him and not had any plan for him. We haven't played. He don't feature for the under-21s. He doesn't feature for the first team. I don't really know what he's doing. It must be frustrating for him, because he must be thinking, well, I'm doing all this wonderful, brilliant stuff in behind closed doors games. That's it. That's all you're really doing, and maybe makes the odd cameo for the first team. That's the problem. We haven't seen Guilherme. My feeling is if Potter, which he clearly has seen something, if he's saying no, do not let this guy go, he's obviously seen something in him, then he's either got to start playing him or he's got to loan him out next season. I think that's probably what I'd like to see. I want to see him part of the first team and start getting the proper opportunity, or just ship him out on loan, send him down to the Championship. Let's see what he's about. Because as you say, we could have a star on our hands here. And if he goes down let's just say he goes down the Championship next season and scores 20 goals and helps a team push for promotion or something, then suddenly you've got a 40, 50 million pound player on your hands possibly. And then it might be a good time either to sell him or to get him involved. I want to see something happen with him because I actually feel for Guilherme
Yeah.
Gonzo. He's come all this way, from Brazil, his family, and he's 18, isn't he?
He's
Something like
18.
that, 19.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
just turned 19. I think it was, February or something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, we remember being that age. It's a strange time of your life. You're still a kid, really, and finding your feet. And he must be so confused for him, thinking, "Well, I've
Yeah.
come all this
Yeah. Yeah.
way, and now I'm just playing." Training, just what he's doing, just going train every day. I mean, it's not a bad way to live your life, obviously, but he must surely want to be playing football and showing what he's all about. But I agree with what you're saying. I understand what you're saying in regards to trust in Potter, but I do think he's a sensible bloke. And if you're being told by the football club that this is at your budget, it's very tight, and you're going to have to sell some players, and the fact that he's now willing to keep Guilherme, who's, let's be honest, done nothing since he's arrived because he hasn't had the chance to, then I reckon he's seen something in him. I reckon he must see him every day and think, yeah, this lad's got something, and he's maybe not quite ready for Premier League football just yet, but he's not. There's something there. Let's just see him do something then. Let's get him out on
Yeah.
loan. Let's do something with the lad. That's the only thing I'm
Yeah.
finding frustrating with it.
Well, I don't forget when he came in, people were saying this is Kudus's replacement. Eventually, this guy will replace Kudus,
Oh,
and
right. Yeah.
I am 95% certain Kudus is leaving in the summer.
You're right. Okay.
I mean, 90, like a solid 95%. I don't know why solid. It's still the same percentage. That's not solid. Doesn't make it 96%, does it? But I'm 96%. Kudus is gonna go in the summer. So I do wonder if there's that there. And I just to take it into what the championship stuff is something I've always argued as well. But just when you were saying it there, to go down there and you said score 20 goals, whatever. Let's not forget, Crescencio Somerville was the championship player of the year
Yeah.
last season.
Yeah.
If there's no reason that someone with that talent, the best, I know there's three of them. There was three Wonderkids that came from Brazil and from Palmeiras, and there's no reason why he can't go into the championship and do that. And if he goes down the championship and becomes like the best winger in the championship, I think you're absolutely right. Will he do it? I think it's a really good point about being 18, 19. Yeah, I mean, I moved an hour and a half away from me mum when I was 19, and she was still coming up and doing me washing and going. Honestly, do you know what I mean? She would
Still
come up.
doing it now, isn't she?
She
I mean,
is. I can't get a stain. I
she's
don't, know what the
off
trick,
now.
I don't know what the trick is to get stains out. Even at my ripe old age, I've not figured out some sort of stain removal detergent or something. Apparently, vanish or I thought it was varnish though, and it didn't work out so well. But yeah, honestly, she'd come and do shopping and fill up my fridge and stuff like that. So. You're a young man at 19, but you're barely wiping your own arse really. But I think it's difficult for him, as a lot of them seem to do when they come over. I think he's brought his family with him, but it's still got to learn the language. I do think it's tough, and there's a reason why clubs do it. It's the clubs that have the infrastructure to do it. Because okay, well, we're going to bring this guy over. That's cool because we got the person here that speaks Portuguese. We got the liaison. We got the player. Not one generalized player liaison. They've got a player liaison for people that come over from South America because they're bringing 3 or 4 of them over. That they're doing this sort of thing. I do wonder if it's a case of it's going to be difficult. That being said, we do have some Brazilians in the squad. So
yes, we do. Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah, I feel like there's a potential here. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there's something could be here with Guilherme. With the news of what you've just said, I feel like it's probably I'm leaning more on the side of I'm more optimistic about him now. I just want to see a plan, Gonzo. Do you know what I mean? I want to see something start happening with him. I say, this is what we're going to do. I don't like what we've done so far. Also, Derek, I was just thinking about it as well. I wonder what Tim Steidten. I think a lot's riding on this for Steidten. Even though he's no longer at the football club, because his reputation's pretty damaged from being at West Ham. Let's be honest, he's not coming out of this looking fantastic.
No.
I feel like he needs this to work out. You know what I mean? Because I feel like he needs to go to his potential next clubs that he's going to go and work with and say, look, I found that Guilherme, and look how bloody well he's putting to be West Ham. So I wonder, do you know what I mean? I think there's a few people that need this to work out, and he's one of them.
It's true, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
And so I found that Guilherme and that Maverick Panos. Give us a job.
Yeah, old steady old Mavro. Yeah, I agree. I do want. I'm quite intrigued to see how this is going to pan out, and I'd love to. And I'll tell you what, as well, it'd be interesting to see how, if Potter is going to live up to the expectations of a few, including myself at the moment. I want to, I do trust him a fair amount now, and I do want to see that grow. I feel like this would be quite an interesting project for him with Guilherme, to see what he's going to do. Because I think you said this, that Potter's he's a manager of West Ham. He's not a coach. It's his show. He's firmly in control of a lot of things here.
It's incredible what's happened, Mark. We implement this director of football thing with Tim Stuyton. We give David Moyes a diluted contract by telling him you're going to have to work for director of football. Every facet of the club was moving towards this. Yet we bring Potter in, who has traditionally been a head coach, and he's come in every inch of a manager. He is controlling everything, and now he's got this McCauley. It's now completely flipped. McCauley's answerable to him, which is exactly how it was with Moyes and Rob Newman. Yes. So McCauley's answerable to him, and he is now the figure. In many respects, you could make the argument one of the very few in European football. I haven't got an encyclopedic knowledge of European football, but European football does tend to operate with a director of football. Certainly one of the few in the Premier League now that is sort of has that omnipotent. Actually, no, I will decide who comes in, and he is. We've gone from like this transfer council that we had. It's incredible what's happened and how he has managed to fall into this situation of absolute power. And I think, and I think he'll continue to wield that power. So we better hope he's good. And I think, and I certainly do. I mean, unless the ownership model of the club changes within the next 12 months, which is still a possibility, by the way, then I think, I think he's here for the long haul. So I'm just being cautious. I can't quite give over. Oh yeah, I trust him completely. I don't know. That's all moved very quickly. I don't move that quickly. I'm still back in there. Hold on a second. Is he getting a 6-month contract?
You're still talking about Phil Parks. Goalkeeper.
I actually was.
That was a previous video.
I was still talking about Phil Parks and the world record transfer. Slow mover
for context. Yes. I agree. I understand what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. I always find it quite interesting as well how Potter's gone from a guy that we were going to. It was always like West Ham are going to do him a favour. We'll give him 6 months. I know you're out of work. You know your stock's not very low. We'll give you a little 6-month deal. See how you get on. We're not going to be pressured into it. And suddenly, within a few months, not only has he got the deal he wanted, he's now firmly in control of everything. He's telling our ownership what's going on, and all I think, how's this happened?
It's incredible change that doesn't really get spoken about at all. It's an incredible change, an incredible power shift. And he must be going, how the hell has this happened? He must be looking and think, this is what I wanted all along.
Yeah.
He didn't have this power at Brighton. Certainly didn't have it at Chelsea. Never. I mean, might have had it at Ostersund, but that's slightly different. It's a 4th division Swedish club who he's taken up through the divisions. It's slightly different, isn't it? But he's in an incredible situation. He has no experience of doing it. And I'll tell you what, it could either go absolutely terribly, or if he has got a real clarity of vision, it could be exactly what we need, and he could take us forward.
Yeah.
It
feels a little bit, doesn't it? Like the stars have aligned a little bit. It does feel like that. I don't want to get too carried away, but it feels like the timing of it all just feels right for everyone. And I'm excited. I feel good about West Ham at the moment. And I think this Guilherme thing, it's not, it's not the most pressing, and it's not keeping me up at night and I'm worrying. But I do want to see something happen there. I'd really want to see next season. I'd be really disappointed if we keep him and then next season it's just the same old. You sit on the bench and he pops on, and we don't. That can't happen. It's got to be one or the other. I imagine Potter's got some ideas. I'd like to think he's planning something with him.
Well, he's competent. That's what I would say. Whilst I'm learning gradually about Potter, he's competent, and that's a real step forward, because the last guy was incompetent. So, which is better than being incontinent, of course. Anyway, right, I'm gonna on that. That's reminded me of something. I'm going to leave it there, Mark. Thank you for joining us, and you can
No
be
problem.
found. Well, don't say sat in front of the camera. Where can you be found?
The West Ham Way channel, matey, on over on same, only next door. Just search it. You'll see me over there, giving it plenty,
Go.
talking West Ham, all the joys of being a West Ham fan, of course.
All the joys. Right. Anyway, cheers, mate.